Let's talk about passing the torch. Pass the torch, and Floyd Mayweather killing the passing of the torch. Right? Ali passed it. Whether it was Leon or Larry, who else we had passed it? De La Hoya got passed the torch from Julio Cesar Chavez. Don't forget, before that, he was gonna fight Sugar Ray Leonard, but Hector Camacho, took that opportunity from him. So yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion on it. I just feel that torch. He killed Torch. Passing the torch, and that's one of the reasons you could blame Canelo Alvarez for not passing the torch to David Benavidez. And his whole thing was I didn't want the O to go. Excuse me, I didn't want the O to go, and that became his persona. I don't think that's really what he was trying to do in his career. It just became like, oh man, you 20-0 and 30-0, you undefeated. But torch passing used to be a way of transferring superstardom in boxing. It used to be, it used to be like, all right, it's your sport, and it wasn't really a permanent mark on fighters, resume. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like with the fans, like Chavez, he lost, but it still didn't stop people from calling him Mexico's greatest fighter. Even though, De La Hoya, in people's mind, even though De La Hoya did what he did to him, he could never be greater than Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. Even though Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali, an older Ali, it didn't make him greater than Ali. And a lot of people mind, they make Larry Holmes better than Muhammad Ali. If you ask people a blanket statement who just casual as a fans, even Evander doing what he did to Mike Tyson, most people still say Mike Tyson. They didn't talk about, oh, what if Evander fought Muhammad Ali? They not once heard a motherfucker bring that fantasy fight up. But you always hear, even before that and after that, Tyson and Ali. Losing as an older fighter and passing that torch, it pretty much was like that movie Him, and I hate to say it like that, where it pretty much was like the movie Him, where he was Marlon was passing the torch to old buddy, and he had to get through old buddy to pass the torch to get to where he wanted to get to, even though he refused it at the end, right? But it used to be clockwork in boxing. It used to be clockwork. Even look at Pacquiao. He still fought guys like, Keith Thurman's willing to fight Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? But, he wasn't the guy. And at the end of the day, just think about it now. Canelo fought Terrence Crawford. And that can't really truly be considered a torch carrying because Crawford is older than him. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like Crawford was 28, he beat Canelo, and now I'm the man, and that would be a torch moment, a torch passing moment. No, like if Canelo had fought David Benavidez, that probably would have saved boxing a little bit more. But everybody's selfish now. Have y'all noticed just the entitlement of people in this world right now, in this country? It's I remember one time, man, I forget where we was at. It was somewhere down south, like Zaxby's or something, if my memory serves me correctly. And somebody paid for somebody else's food, and then they paid for the next people's food, and we paid for the next, like that. Like, you don't have that. And that was 2008, 9. And that was during the recession, right? You don't have that no more. Even when you watch people drive, I don't give a fuck about nobody else. I got to get to where I get to. I got to cut you off. Like, people are not good people no more. It's like it's a real shortage of good people. Everybody is so selfish. And one of the reasons God takes us through poverty and tough times, not only does it build character, it really shows you who you are. If, you're going through a tough time, your first thing is to, want to harm somebody or steal and rob somebody, you really failed the test. Because it's easy to do the right thing, when you up. But it's hard to do the right thing when you're going through something. And boxing right now, you're seeing a lot of selfish guys. Think about it. Let's just say, all right, we take Canelo out. Let's say Tank's the guy. Tank is not even willing to establish himself as a Hall of Famer. Tank is not even willing to establish himself as a unified champion or title holder. He's not willing to establish himself as a lineal. And it's a shame. So we get to a point where, okay, Canelo ain't passing the torch, and now we got a bunch of young fighters that refuse to establish themselves by fighting each other. And by this time, they all should have fought each other. So not only is torch bearing killed, is being killed. It's not the torch is like, even if we had a torch to pass, ain't no torch to pass. Because nobody established themselves to be the guy. And even, not a torch just sitting in the sky. Who gonna grab it? You gotta have the participants. You gotta have the guys with the swag. You gotta have the guy with the cachet. So that's the crazy thing about it. We just don't have a lot of good, it's just torch bearing is done. So who gonna be the next superstar? It's hard to be a superstar and get it from the mud, even in the social media era. When you go out here and look, who got personality? You look at just guys throughout history. Zab had a New York personality. Mike Tyson had a New York personality. Prince Nazim Muhammad had a great personality. James Toney had a great personality. Roy Jones was a star, was a shining star. He had still to this day, great personality. Floyd had a persona. You know what I'm saying? You had all these guys, who just were colorful. For every Evander Holyfield, you had a few Mike Tysons. Even though George Foreman was known as a badass, whoop your ass type of dude, when he became the Jolly Green Giant, guess what? He was must see TV. You look around, you got a bunch of Andre Wards. For a long time, Crawford was in that category, didn't show his personality. Shakur Stevens, a real no personality. Tank can't even talk. T.O. clown. Devin really not a talker. Really, the daddies are the shining stars. Danny Garcia, the daddy did the talking. Brian Norman Jr., the daddy do the talking. You notice how a social media era or a certain era, late millennials into this, what is these dudes people call now? Gen Zers to Gen Alpha A's, whatever. They have no personality. You got to remember, like, people like Senior and Haney, they grew up in a different era. Richard Pryor, you had, Hulk Hogan. You had just so many different personalities back then. Red Fire. I mean, you can go on and on. Everybody has swag. Niggas in New Edition was swagged out. Eric B. Rakim was what. So we came from an era. A lot of them came from an era where we went outside, we got off the porch, we were impressionable. We had to get out, we had to get into the field. Now you don't have personality. And the superstars that's going out, it's not a lot going out, and they're not willing to give you a chance to climb to that mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? So when the torch is just sitting in the sky for somebody to grab, somebody has to be unique. Somebody has to have a unique personality. And you think about it, for Larry Holmes to get credit, they built up Gary Cooney. You know what I'm saying? Gary Cooney had to be a star. You don't have white boys walking around American skies that's the stars no more. You don't have Gary Cooney's, your Tommy Morrison's, you know what I'm saying? Had them guys walking around no more. There's few far in between historically, but torch, who gonna take the torch, man? It may not be no torch to take no more. Networks are cashed out of, they out of boxing. Boxing is on no major network right now. None. Prime Video would not be renewing PBC's deal. So Prime Video, Viacom, Showtime, all they pay, anything under that banner, VH1, BET Plus, MTV, all that's gone. They cut music channels. You look at it, Fox, they ain't in the boxing business. TNT ain't getting into the boxing business. So when you start looking around, there may not be a sport left. A lot of these motherfuckers gonna be fighting for super chats. Lord forbid the Saudis say we don't want shit to do with it no more, which would be smart because they losing money. Lord forbid they say, hey, we out, duck, we out. Just saying. Just saying. Ain't no torch to be picked up no more. And one of the genius things about Floyd not passing torch, he can just come back and make money as he want to. And then for guys to just say, I'm gonna just grab it without having a passing for torch moment, Benavidez, he's okay in the category, but he's a mulatto. So they don't really respect the mulattoes in Mexican culture. Especially in boxing. Look at Roberto Duran. They don't claim Duran. Great. If he was a Mexican, if they claimed his Mexican side, he would be the greatest fighter in Mexican history. Even with a quit under his belt. Panama claim him. Too black for them. So David Benavidez, bro, is just to the point where they don't claim him. So that's a strike against him. Didn't get the Canelo fight. That's a strike against him. Don't have the opponents to be a superstar right now. That's a strike against him. So who gonna pick up the pieces? Who gonna be? It ain't nobody. Don't have most of these guys to get in there and they fight. And it's, when the last historic fight you seen? When the last big fight you seen that lived up to the bill? None. Like it was a Hagler Hearns type shit. None. That was the type of fight. And you ain't gonna get that because if you get a Hagler Hearns type of superstar fight, if you get a Hagler Leonard type of fight, with the controversy, it's a big controversial thing. If you even get those type of things, it's behind the paywall, brother. It's behind the fucking paywall. They have completely destroyed torch passing. They have completely destroyed boxing as you know it. Y'all just don't know it yet. Boxing, they gonna be Pro Box was smart. Pro Box was ahead of the curve. That was the perfect timing for Pro Box. What they did was perfect. Pro Box is going to be a trendsetter for years to come. Everybody's going to be mimicking what Pro Box do. It's going to be, okay, Pro Box on YouTube. Eventually they're going to have their own app or go out there and get shit on TV. I'm telling you, boxing is dead, bro. Turkey Ala Sheik is one meeting away. Hey, we don't want to fuck with this no more. These niggas is going to be begging the fans. They will Jodeci the fans. Keith Sweat the fans. They is done. And even, they don't even fight. Like, I'm so happy boxing is getting destroyed. They can just go to the beginning. These spoiled, entitled little fucks then destroyed the sport. Gonna see these niggas working at fucking Lowe's, man. Getting your fucking paint. Hit the link in the description. Follow me everywhere. Join the Patreon. Peace.